Hi guys, thought we'd take a minute and talk Moras, right? This isn't going to be a pro or con Mora video necessarily. This isn't going to be a gear review or any of that other stuff. You know, goodness knows that there's plenty of people out there doing gear reviews and knife reviews on YouTube. So that's not where I choose to focus. Anyway, but I have some thoughts, and the reason being is because, and you guys are probably well aware of this, that there is on forums out there and on YouTube and everywhere else on the internet, as is apt to happen on the internet, is there's just boatloads of debate and argument and fighting about these little guys here. Who knew, you know, a $15 or $10 thing could conjure up so much debate. So what I thought I'd do is make some kind of attempt at using a bit of objectivity and enter my 2 cents into the debate, because there's some guys that yell and scream on the forums and, you know, on different places over the internet that, you know, Moras are just, I mean, you listen to them, you'd think Moras are going to get people killed. You know, they hate them. They hate them, hate them, hate them. I don't know. Whatever. So that's their prerogative. And then it's at the other end of the spectrum is, you know, you have, you know, people that eat, sweat, and bleed Moras. And, you know, again, it's their prerogative. But, you know, we have to look at it. The way I look at it is there ought to be maybe a little bit more separation between what bushcraft is and being a woodsman is and versus survival. Bushcraft, we like to use several tools, and everybody has their opinions and feelings about what tools they like to use. Part of bushcraft is, you know, using knives, using saws, hatchets, axes, and knives to create and affect the kind of things that we like to do out in the woods. And, you know, so it's building fires, building shelters, and those kind of utilitarian purposes, as well as other things like fine carving of people out there making spoons and forks and bowls and all kinds of things. So, you know, what you do, your needs are based on what you need, and it, I think the argument is people get all bent out of shape because Moras aren't full tang and that kind of thing. You know, when in doubt, go full tang, sure. But the Mora is a tool that, you know, these little guys come with this, you know, really a nice ideal blade for doing some nice carving work. And the Scanvik steel, the famous steel from Sweden, you know, it's good stuff. It's it gets sharp, holds an edge well, comes sharp. This one I really haven't used much. Some other ones I've used so much that they're gone. Excuse me. But so me, I don't go into the woods without my Mora with me. It's because they're so light that you don't notice it's with you, and so you throw one in your pack. There's plenty of videos that'll tell you all the things you can do with a Mora, but they're, you know, they're great for carving and fine to medium wood processing and that sort of thing. I think where the debate ends up getting is, you know, there's all this talk of your one tool option. You know, if you were in the woods with one knife and that's all you had, or you had one thing to affect your survival, would the Mora be the tool of choice? And for me, no, absolutely not. Because there are some legit complaints. You know, I've seen guys break these things. I've never broken one because I think I just use it my tools properly. I use the right tool for the job, or I try to. So I consider my Moras as part of a kit. For bushcrafting, I think the one tool option is ridiculous. It's perhaps a knife and a small folding saw, a Baco Laplander or equivalent, and then maybe a hatchet or a chopper or tomahawk or something else. Covers more bases than just trying to do everything with one tool. So from a bushcrafting perspective, that one tool thing doesn't make sense to me. And so you have to consider that. So really we have to consider what's the point of half these arguments. So for the survival guys, you'd want something that's next to indestructible, something that's carryable, something that'll do okay at a lot of tasks, but is specialized for nothing, right? So it's a different thing. I think it's apples and oranges myself. So I think the fighting is ridiculous. I think that would I rely on one is that one tool survival option? Nah. It's just, I think that would be kind of foolish. There's really no point. There's affordable, full-tang, heavy-duty knives out there. Plenty of brands make them. However, Moras on the affordability scale are crazy, You can get these companions and stuff that, $15 or something like that. And so for people, entry-level knife, for people getting into bushcraft, I mean, it's, we're lucky. They're dang good knives for that price. And people can get started without having to start with a piece of junk, that's going to frustrate them. These things will stay sharp. The Scandi grind's pretty easy to sharpen. So there's a whole lot of learning that can go on with these things for those people that you and I are going to mentor into this thing that we do. And to get them started with one of these things is brilliant, And then you and I are going to teach them about what I'm talking about. So I think the whole debate has to be kept real. So yeah, the shortcomings are, the tang comes to about here, right? It's a stick tang type thing in this plastic molded handle. So, is it going to last like a, one of those Beckers, a BK2 or a BK9 or something like that? It's BK17 or something. No, it's not made for the same job. So use the right tool for the job, So bushcraft and survival, while complementary, are a different discussion. So anyway, to me, that's kind of it. I hope that I find these arguments kind of a waste of time and breath, because it seems like arguing about is a Volkswagen bus gonna the best option for a NASCAR race. It's just apples and oranges to me. So Mora is a great product at a great price. It does a lot of things. They're lightweight, easy to carry, easy to afford. You break it, you can replace it cheaply. They're not, to me, overly prone to breakage. Like I said, I've never broken one myself. But then again, I don't beat the living snot out of them either. So, I don't know. Maybe somebody will watch this and realize that, hey, I'd spend a little bit more time teaching about it rather than arguing about it, and just approach things. They can maybe approach things with a little bit more intellectual honesty as far as really putting things in their categories of, what is something good for, instead of, I don't know, all the drama. So that's that. Mora's, like I said, this isn't about instructions or gear reviews or anything like that, but they have their place, that's for sure. So I wanted to throw in a quick 2 cents too on Mora versus the $300 knife, which is part of the debate I see out there. The $300 custom knife, made by, Joe whoever in his home shop. Being a crafter myself, I greatly appreciate the skill and time invested in custom work. Not enough can be said about that. And is a Mora going to do everything a $300 custom knife is going to do? Very unlikely. Given the choice, if I had to pick one, I'd pick the $300 custom knife, because chances are it's going to be more durable, certainly better to look at, and show off, right? I'm not a big gear hoarder, gear guy, right? I like to buy and use what works for me, what gets the job done. And a $300 custom knife certainly would probably accomplish more tasks, be more well-rounded than a Mora. However, is a $300 knife going to make feather sticks better than a Mora? Probably not. So for those carving things, Mora is good at doing certain tasks very well, and so again, the point being is use it for those tasks. I don't think that it needs to be mutually exclusive. If I had a $300 custom knife, I'd still carry my Mora with me also, because it's lightweight, and I could take it out and maybe not be quite so afraid to wreck it, whatever, things like that. So anyway, it just occurred to me to add this part in, because I remember that being part of an argument once. So we got to keep that in mind, that all these things have their place in our kits. And there's people that can't afford a $300 custom knife. It's just the fact of life. I run into that all the time with people getting sticker shock for the the things that I make, the leather work that I do. And some of them opt for the Chinese pre-made stuff, and or what have you. So anyway, so when you can, support your local craftsman, or not local, but a craftsman that and respect, and give him your dollars when you can, because it's nice to give the solo guy, the small guy, the money that he deserves. It's an art. There's no doubt about it, making custom work of any kind. And so when you can, do that. But at the same time, get the tools that work for you, that you need, and that fit in your budget. So anyway, just wanted to add that. So I appreciate you guys watching as always. I'm grateful again for your subscriptions and your time, and I hope you find what I have to say worth it, and I'll catch you again later when I come up with something else to talk about. So see you guys.